Everyone keeps telling me the same thing. You're unemployed and you're still wasting your money. For just $80 a month in Vietnam, I could easily rent a decent-sized room and live by myself. But instead, I chose to move into a tiny 6.5 square meter loft and share it with someone else. Sounds crazy, right? But is it really a bad decision? Or is there something most people are missing? Today, I'm going to find out by judging this place based on 3 things. First, is $80 actually worth it? Second, what's it really like living in a space that's only 6.5 square meters? And finally, can this tiny room actually offer a better life than a room 3 times the size? Hi, I'm new. First, let's see what $80 actually gets you. When I rented this room, I wasn't just renting 6.5 square meters of space. Almost everything I needed was already here. This mattress is actually quite thick. It's much softer than I expected. And honestly, I've been sleeping really well here. The room is about 1.5 meters wide and roughly 4.5 meters long. It's a tiny space, but it has just enough room for a mattress, a study desk, and a chair. Everything you see on the desk was already here before I moved in, even the lamp and the fan. I didn't need to spend money buying any furniture or basic essentials. For someone who's unemployed and living on savings, that made a huge difference from day one. This isn't really a private room. It's an open loft that costs about $80 a month. There are no doors and no walls to separate it from the space below, so privacy is pretty limited. If someone is downstairs, you can hear almost everything they're doing, and they can hear you too. If you're used to living alone or having your own space, this kind of setup might feel a little uncomfortable at first. For me, though, it's a compromise I'm willing to make. Right now, saving money matters more than having perfect privacy. The kitchen comes with an electric stove, a washing machine, a refrigerator, pots, bowls, and chopsticks. Pretty much everything I need is already here. When I moved in, all I brought was a backpack and a few sets of clothes. I was able to settle in right away without buying anything. The only downside is probably this wardrobe. It's quite small, and since I have to share it, I can only hang a few of my clothes inside. Everything else stays in my backpack, and I keep my shoes underneath. Sometimes the clothes end up smelling a little because they're stored so close together. Luckily, I only have 2 pairs of shoes, a pair of fake Crocs and a pair of brown slip-ons. If I owned more shoes than that, finding space would definitely be a challenge. This is our shared bathroom. It's one bathroom for everyone in the house. So if nature calls while someone else is in the shower, well, you don't really have a choice. You just wait. Trust me, I've had to do that quite a few times already. The good thing is that everyone helps keep it clean. We have a weekly cleaning schedule, and today it's my turn to clean the bathroom. Now that I've finished cleaning the shared bathroom, it's time to vacuum my own room. So for $80 a month, here's what I get. I can simply pack my... But of course, privacy. Would you rather pay more for a larger room and live completely on your own? Or choose a small open space? Now I'm going to take out the trash. Everyone here leaves their garbage in one designated spot at the front of the house. Later, the garbage truck comes by to collect everything. One thing that's convenient is that I don't have to pay a separate trash collection fee. Since all the trash is put out together at my landlady's house, it's counted as one household, and the collection fee is already covered as part of the rent. So, with 6.5 square meters, can I live comfortably? I can reach the ceiling, and after editing videos, I can just turn around and go from my desk to my bed. That's convenient, right? But I'm perfectly fine living here for over 2 months. There's only one bathroom here, containing both a toilet and a sink, and 3 people share it. I'm not paying for just 6.5 square meters. I'm paying to live in an environment that you can only appreciate once you step outside the door. Right downstairs, there's a gym that's busy every single day. Next to it is a yoga studio where people come to unwind after work. Upstairs, there are English classes and piano lessons for children. And right at the front of the building, there's a large wedding studio. There's no late-night drinking outside, no loud karaoke, no piles of trash on the sidewalk. Everyone takes good care of the shared spaces and keeps the neighborhood clean. Living here, I'm surrounded by people who value a healthy lifestyle. People who exercise, teachers, parents bringing their children to class. To understand why I ended up living here, we have to go back about 2 months. I'm unemployed, and finding an affordable place to live suddenly became one of my biggest priorities. Every day, I spent hours scrolling through rental listings, checking prices, looking at photos. Eventually, I started visiting the rooms one by one. One of the first places I went to see was this apartment building. It has about 4 floors with 5 or 6 rooms on each floor. There was no furniture at all. The air felt damp, and I could smell the moisture the moment I walked in. Everyone parked their motorbikes on the ground floor. One thing I noticed was that there wasn't a gate to secure the parking area. I'm sure the landlord had their own way of managing things, but at the time, I didn't feel completely comfortable leaving my motorbike there. $70 sounds cheaper, but was it really the better deal? This was the second place I came to see, and honestly, my first impression was that it felt much more spacious and open than the first one. There were already quite a few people living here, and the rent was around $65 to $70 a month. As I walked down the hallway, I could hear conversations coming from the rooms nearby. Someone was having dinner, someone else was sitting outside chatting with friends. The whole place felt lively and full of everyday life. People's belongings lined the hallway, and the motorbikes were parked so close together there was barely any empty space. I guess this is what many affordable boarding houses in Vietnam look like. They're simple, they're busy, and they're home to people who are all working hard to build a life for themselves. This was the cheapest room I looked at. Curious, the rent was only about $55 a month, which is a very affordable price for people who move away from home for work. Observing, The moment I stepped inside, the first thing I noticed was the damp smell and cigarette smell. It was hard to ignore. Thoughtful. Most of the rooms were already occupied, so it seemed like this place was almost always full. The motorbikes were parked downstairs, where the lighting was quite dim, and the whole area felt a little damp. Reflective. Since these spaces are shared, keeping them clean depends on everyone living here. When I visited, there were quite a few personal belongings and some trash that hadn't been cleaned up yet. The clothes drying area was surprisingly large, but almost every line was already full, which told me a lot of people were living here. Honest. $55 a month is definitely an attractive price, and I completely understand why it's always in demand. But after walking around for a while, I realized something gentle. It wasn't just about finding the cheapest room. I was looking for a place where I could feel comfortable living every single day. And deep down, I knew this wasn't the environment I was looking for. Honest, that's why I eventually decided to spend about $25 more each month. Because in the end, I wasn't paying for an extra few square meters. I was paying for peace of mind. I was paying for an environment that made me feel safe, motivated, and hopeful every time I walked out the door. Looking back reflectively, I still believe I made the right decision. Just a few minutes walk from here, and I'm already at the local market. That's probably my favorite part of living here. The people. Everyone is so kind. They greet each other with a smile, and somehow they make me feel like I've been part of this neighborhood for much longer than I actually have. Let's have breakfast together. This is my usual order. Vegetarian bánh xào, Vietnamese savory pancake. It's called bánh xào because when you fry it, you hear a very loud sizzling sound. Let me tell you.
Bên này giùm em với.
Chưa về nữa. Quay ra cái cô bánh xèo này đưa lên trên mạng á. Bánh xèo chay.
One plate like that costs 30 cents. The cake is made from rice flour, with a little chives added. No meat. Very simple. I've forgotten about fancy restaurants. Now, the market is where I feel most comfortable. They felt comfortable confiding in each other. Eating it with lettuce to avoid feeling too full, I finished 2 plates of bánh xèo, totaling 60 cents. Wow, I was surprised by the radiant and beautiful smile of the stall owner. The stall next to mine was run by an elderly couple selling Chinese rice cakes. I don't know the English name, but they were very clean. They wiped the plates clean before carefully serving me the food. This dish is served with a sweet and tangy fish sauce. Curious. Inside, there's seasoned ground pork and wood ear mushrooms, and it smells absolutely amazing. Excited. Oh, look at this. The cake is so soft with a slightly chewy texture. Surprised. Wow, it's even better than I expected. The rice cake itself has a very delicate flavor, while the savory filling is rich and comforting. And when you dip it into the sweet and tangy fish sauce, everything comes together perfectly. I just had breakfast. I ate 2 dishes, but it only cost $1. Here, I received positive feedback, regardless of wealth or poverty, and everyone was friendly. For example, when she saw me filming with my phone, she helped wake up the ducks so I could film them.
Tôm 50.000 nửa ký. Cua Cà Mau 50.000 nửa ký. Cua Cà Mau 200. Tôm 50.000 nửa ký. Cua Cà Mau 250.000
lát
một
xíu
ký.
thì nó gấy càng ông ngoại bắt đền
50.000 nửa ký.
đấy là nó chạy
Cua Cà Mau
đấy
250.000 một ký.
đấy
Tôm
Quay mà thấy một cái
50.000
nhẫn
nửa
này.
ký. Cua Cà Mau 250.000 một ký. Tôm 50.000 nửa ký. Cua Cà Mau 250.000.
Another cheerful woman invited me to film her granddaughter and the dog in her arms, laughing and talking. She was so positive and lovely.
Cưng lắm.
The little girl even helped chase flies away from her mother's pork stall. Wow, this fruit stand looks so appealing. It's been a long time since I've eaten fruit.
Đâu nè, cầm một chùm lên chụp. Cái này xấu lắm rồi mà. Cái gì trái bên kia cái đẹp.
This market has every kind of fruit you can imagine. I'm currently living in Donduong district, one of the biggest farming areas in Lamdong province. I think that's one of the reasons the produce here is so affordable. It's much cheaper than in many other places I've visited. One thing I really love about shopping at local markets in Vietnam is that you can usually try the fruit before you buy it. If you like it, you can buy some. If you decide not to, that's completely fine too. The vendors will still smile and no one will pressure you. Right now, I'm eating a plum. Just look at that color. It's such a deep red and incredibly juicy. Excited. Oh, wow, it's even sweeter than I expected. It's crisp, refreshing, and tastes like it was just picked from the tree. Smiling. And the best part? A whole kilogram costs only about $1.40. I continued trying the rambutan, holding my phone in one hand, so I had to use my mouth to bite the peel open. The rambutan was very sweet, and not soft, but crunchy. I liked eating it that way. I'll buy half a kilo, so my roommate and I can share it. 800 grams is $1.
Xuất khẩu lao động.
I'll try another one.
Thấy không? Dạ không? Không cho cái mặt của chị lên chứ. Nó giỡn nó chọc tôi nghe. Dính rồi. Rồi, 20 nghe bé nha. Em chụp khoản nha.
Mấy em làm cái gì để thực tập cái gì hả? Đừng quay mặt anh đẹp lắm, đừng quay nha.
It only took about 10 minutes to walk, and I was home. Yeah. Let's eat rambutan together and have a heart-to-heart talk. I've seen quite a few comments saying that $80 is too expensive for a tiny 6.5 square meter loft. Understanding, and honestly, I could understand why people felt that way. But after living here for a while, I started to see it differently. I wasn't just paying for a place to sleep. I was paying for the environment, a place that's quiet, peaceful, and surrounded by people whose lifestyle inspires me to keep moving forward every day. Oh, and while we're talking, I have some good news to share. I finally found a job. The salary is about $230 a month, and I'll only have 1 day off each month. Honest, it's not a high income, but right now I'm genuinely grateful for this opportunity because it's a chance to stand on my own feet again. Hopeful. I took this job so I can support myself while continuing to make YouTube videos. Determined. But this isn't my final goal. Not even close. Motivated. Whenever I have free time, I still want to keep learning. Find another source of income, or maybe even start a small business of my own. Dreaming. I don't know what I'll be selling yet, but I do know one thing. I have to start with whatever little money I have and build from there. Thank you for always being my friend.